skills now have taken on a new dimension. Thinking on the run, on the run is what is the demand today in all the jobs.
Right.
Are they independent thinkers or not? And therefore, we will have to build that capability in students and in mid-career professionals who could think on their own.
The technology-based skills are now overshadowing our standard, traditional, conventional wisdom.
I think it's high time that we also, as humans, as students, as mid-career professionals, look for mentoring. Unless you make someone do something, they wouldn't learn it.
Hello and a warm welcome to another episode of Future Proofed in association with GLA University. In this podcast, we bring you experts from the world of industry and academia to talk about what's shaping the future of jobs. They weigh in with their unique perspectives on how to create employable graduates, among other things, for brighter career prospects of the future. I'm your host, Gaurav Chaudhary. In this episode, we are going to talk about something that is there on almost everyone's mind, which is how to future-proof your career. This is particularly true among students and mid-career professionals who are looking to make a switch in their own careers that they may have started, say, about 10 years ago. It's interesting because the world is evolving very rapidly, almost at a pace that we probably could not have imagined even, say, 5 years ago. So, to talk about all of this and much more, I have with me Professor Suresh, Head of Training and Development, GLA University, and Mr. Masroor Lodi, founder, unlock.fit. Delighted to have you here on the show, gentlemen. Absolutely pleasure to host you.
Likewise.
Professor Suresh, let me start off with you with a fundamental question, basic question that is dominating people's mind. What's the most critical skill that students nowadays need to have to kind of future-proof their careers?
I guess it is one of the most relevant questions of today. And students and parents, corporate sector, all are worried about where livelihoods are going.
Right.
And skills now have taken on a new dimension. The technological input of skills, the technology-based skills are now overshadowing our standard, traditional, conventional wisdom that was being imparted in colleges is not as relevant and useful today. And keeping the future in mind, the students need to be a self-learner, not just depend on learning in an institution. That is a basic learning, because that learning gives you what I call just in case knowledge.
Right.
Just in case you need maths.
Right.
Just in case you need programming. But today, the time has come where students have to have knowledge which is just in time. If tomorrow morning I have to deliver a package in a certain language, I need to be prepared with overnight.
Absolutely.
Skills like thinking on the run, on the run is what is the demand today in all the jobs.
Right.
And I hope students are able to realize this, that their curiosity and excitement for a job is going to be added to by AI coming into our life now.
Absolutely. Mr. Lodi, let me come to you. You have a front row seat. You're dealing with skills, coaching, entrepreneurship, and how to train generations of people, batches of students, and also mid-career professionals. What is that one skill that you look for in employees, if I may ask?
Yes. I think one of the things that we look for at unlock.fit when we had people is, are they independent thinkers or not?
Oh, okay, interesting.
So even if I go to campuses, I don't want people who are there to seek guidance. I would say, are you an independent thinker or not? Sir talked about the AI world and technology. I think the more we are moving into technology and the AI world, I think more we need to go back to the basics.
Right.
And look for candidates who are having the ability to learn.
Right.
And that ability to learn is something which we are missing in the new age students, because they are probably relying more on information and knowledge and less on gaining wisdom.
Absolutely.
And therefore, I would say while AI is great, no doubt about it, it will expose more knowledge to us. It will make information more accessible, but it is not going to offer wisdom to you.
Absolutely.
And therefore, we will have to build that capability in students and in mid career professionals who could think on their own, who could build the ability to learn as they progress.
It's a very interesting perspective because you talked about going back to basics. So B2B has a completely new perspective, back to basics.
True.
Professor Suresh, let me come back to you. That's a good segue point. How do you think students can actually identify their strengths and weaknesses? Because it's a very rapidly evolving world.
Students have to trust self-assessment now. Students will have to come into their lives by learning to assess themselves on a timely basis on the skills required by the career that they are aiming for. If they are aiming for a career in software development, the required skills can be assessed by the AI nowadays.
Right.
And AI, if students can accept it as a learning buddy, an AI tutor, self-assessment becomes a daily aspect of knowing where you are at any moment, gives an edge to the student to grow in life.
Absolutely.
That's the key aspect here.
Mr. Lodi, it's a game of constant reskilling and upskilling, reskilling and upskilling. So, what's the most significant challenge you see among students and also early career and mid career professionals of reskilling? Because you are skilling yourself for tomorrow, but the tomorrow itself is so uncertain. So, what do you skill yourself for?
So I'll narrate a story about it. I was speaking to one of my previous bosses, right? And he said, Masroor, I'm just moving into a new role. And this is a completely different role. And I'm looking for a coach. Now, someone who was my manager is in the age bracket of 50 plus. He is looking for a mentor. I think it's high time that we also, as humans, as students, as mid career professionals, look for mentoring. I think that opportunity is huge. What the mentor does is not giving solutions. The mentor helps us sharpen our questions, and which is where I think students will have to overcome this challenge. They need to look for guidance from teachers, but not in the form of solutions, but in the form of gaining right questions, which they can answer to figure out their own paths.
Professor Suresh, we are entering the high noon of the AI era, and AI is taking over aspects and functions of our lives that probably we could not have imagined. But from a career point of view, what role do you think AI and technology is going to play in shaping the career of students and professionals?
Students have never had access to information like they have today. I'm sure in our times, information was in libraries or in the sector that we were working in. But today it is freely available to us, accessible by us. And once a student is able to leverage the data and the information that is available in the form of AI processing, whatever tools that we have, you will find that a student is not anymore limited to what he's choosing as his career. His career could change overnight in 15 days. He could, with the help of AI, get skills to improve himself in any direction that he can move. And that is the role of AI. Though AI itself is evolving, we need students to learn about AI, learn to use AI, and then learn from AI.
Right.
These three stages, if a student is not going to go into, it could end up being just a dream, a technology coming through, and we do not take advantage of it.
Absolutely. AI, of course, is threatening to eat our breakfast, lunch, and dinner all. But Mr. Lodi, if you were to advise someone that how can you use AI and technology to enhance your career, how do you respond to that?
I think sir touched upon some very important layers. Those layers are the fundamental layers. But those layers still offer information and knowledge, which means AI is democratizing the information and knowledge. But there is something that still remains very human, and that's about your judgment. So if you have the same information, what sort of judgment you are going to draw out of it.
Right.
Your judgment would be different from mine and from sirs. And that means it is still very human. So as students and as mid-career professionals, we will have the responsibility of gaining as much knowledge as possible through AI because it has democratized it. But at the same time, what do we do with that knowledge? That wisdom sits inside us. And therefore, as I said, we need to go back to the basics.
Absolutely. And, it's a question of judgment, as you said, Professor Suresh. But when students pass out of campuses, they go from the classrooms to the shop floors. There is always a world of difference. One of the common criticisms, if I may say so, about the Indian curricula is that the pipeline of students that are being trained for are not being trained for the requirements of the industry. Now, it is absolutely unlike in many countries in the West where there is massive industry academia collaboration, and that is a very mainstream, well-established practice. What is it that India can do? And from a GLA University's perspective, how are you actually collaborating with industry to train students so that they can go and work and equipped with the skills that the industry requires?
This was a problem that was addressed by our Board of Governors, I think 3-4 years back. And what was decided was the final year would be to students who would be wanting to engage industry in terms of internships. Today in GLA, you will find students getting into internships from second year for a 2-month internship, and after third year, getting into a year-long internship. And mostly when you work in a company with for year-long, you will find that you are absorbed into that company quite easily. So one of the early adaptations, I should say, the adaptability that was put into our system was to allow students to get into internships, to engage with mentors, to engage with life coaches, to engage with people whom they preferred the career that they were going in for, the kind of career they were going in for. So we'll find that in GLA, in say third year student is doing internship rather than studying in classrooms. So the classroom study has kind of morphed into industry interaction. You are given marks and credits for doing an industry level project that motivates the students to interact with the industry and understand what is the requirement today and try to even forecast what could be the requirement 2 years down the line when he's going to join the job. So this industry adoption by the student very early in engineering has been one of the steps that I found that the management was quite courageous enough to go against the grain and decide on this, that to have a student out of the classroom into the industry.
But are you also taking feedback and inputs from the industry constantly to redesign your
True,
curriculum?
that's a relevant point. What happens is every 5 students have a mentor in the college, a faculty, who kind of monitors, manages the problems that the student may be facing or the industry may be facing, interacts between the two of them. And in 6 months to 1 year time, you will find students easily adapting to what the industry requirement is. It's not a stress anymore in the final year that he has to get into a particular industry. And industry knows our students from second year itself.
Right.
So that's a great advantage they have.
Right. Mr. Lodi, one thing that is very important now is career development
Yes.
for working professionals.
Yes.
In your view, how can organizations actually help in enhancing and reskilling professionals to achieve their career development goals?
Yes. So essentially, when it comes to the career development, there are a lot of dimensions. And sir would agree, he comes from that background, that it's not just about course curriculum. We talked about internship a little while ago. It's a powerful way. Earlier, we used to call something called job rotation. We used to call on-the-job training and whatnot. We used to do this in manufacturing setup previously. We could pick that up and do it in the service sector, in knowledge sector also. Because unless you make someone do something, they wouldn't learn it. It would still be more like a school and college where they'll heard something, and that's about it. And what sir was just mentioning about your approach, it's very powerful. Identifying mentors from within the academia to guide them. What we do at unlock.fit is something similar. So as an industry, what we essentially do is, as a company, if someone comes to us, we say, you are going to do a real work. We are not going to give you certificate. That's not the purpose. The purpose is you are supposed to do something relevant. And why it is mattering more to us now? Because we are in a domain which is evolving. And we have found young people doing a far better job than people who came from the industry, because they were still struggling with what genomics is, what biology is in terms of interaction with nutrition, wellness, and whatnot. And we found youngsters were able to quickly absorb the need of the new science and were able to build models and were able to build solutions around it. So I would tell you, my team's average age is below 25. And we are serving some of the best names in the country when it comes to their personalized growth, personalized wellness. Right? So the likes of the stars that we see in cricketing world, in Bollywood, in politics, in business, we are serving all of them. And the average age is below 25.
Very low median age, and that's
Yes.
that's you know
I
that's a
think
good.
Sir just mentioned a point I'd like to add on that. Personalized learning is the next thing that the students and parents, society at large, have to adopt. What is the personalized learning model, where you are able to create curriculums which make you curious and excite you about learning. Today, we find students coming to college because they have to come to college. But I hope in future that when AI is a part of our society, accepted by the society, people would want to come to college rather than
Right.
have to come to college. That difference would be seen, I hope, by the AI revolution.
Absolutely. So that's my next question, Professor Suresh. How can professionals continuously maintain a learning attitude? Because that is going to make them stand out.
A learning habit, I feel, is a mindset. If he has a mindset of curiosity, continuous learning will be self motivational.
Right.
If a person has to learn from somebody else, third person point of view, if you look around, third person point of view is almost out of the world now. You don't want to listen from somebody what somebody else has said. You would want to have a direct experience of it. So the best thing would be to have a mindset transformation where continuous learning is a part of your agenda of life. And if a career for students in future would require you to be adaptable, and adaptability comes with continuous learning. That's one of the outcomes of this continuous learning mindset. And we can't keep telling people learn. We have to somehow bring self motivation from within, that they can actually adopt continuous learning.
And Mr. Lodi, what trends do you see shaping the future of career and professional development?
Yes. Sir touched upon adaptability. I think we talk about something called thinking about thinking, right? There's something similar happening about learning also. We have to learn the art of learning. We are missing that. And as we grow in age in our careers, that ability to learn slows down. So there are a couple of things that I believe as we grow in our career and professional life are going to be important. One of the things is, of course, building skills. The other one is ability to learn, that we have touched upon. The third that we spoke earlier is about judgment, right? If you have strong, very sound judgment ability, it will place you in great positions.
Right.
But the fourth one that nobody talks about is health.
Right.
I have never seen a top quality CEO leading a top quality organization but is unhealthy. You will have to have your health in place. And that's where these four things are going to decide the destiny as far as your profession is concerned.
Absolutely. And finally, Professor Suresh, if you were to give one advice to students preparing to join the job market, what is that piece of advice? Because you're talking, looking at a very uncertain, not an uncertain future, but you're looking at an exciting future which can also be dominated by uncertainty.
Students of today and tomorrow need to be self motivated, need to be open minded about adopting technology, and the early adoption by students are going to make them stand ahead and stand out of the run of the mill students that we are going to have. And if students can understand the importance of technology and not use technology for a very touchy topic is cheating. Today, technology is being used to bypass hard work. Learning is the work put into a solution,
Right.
not the solution.
Right.
And if students cheat on that hard work part, they very rarely I find people who are successful later on.
Absolutely. And Mr. Lodi, final question to you before we wrap it up. How can professionals build a strong personal brand? Because that is going to be increasingly more important in career prospects, isn't it?
Absolutely. So, in my over 20 years of work experience in the corporate sector and then as an entrepreneur, one quality that I see that differentiates a professional from rest of the pack is his or her ability to get things done.
Right.
And I remember one of the interviews of President Barack Obama. He was asked a similar question, and he said, "Get things done. Don't bring just the problems, bring the solution as well along with it." And age is not something which will define this characteristic of an individual. I've seen people who have 25 plus years of experience and is still not able to get things done, whereas someone fresh out of college is able to get things done. That person who is able to get things done would always be picked over others.
Absolutely. So those who can get things done are the ones who are going to stand out. Thank you so much, Professor Suresh and Mr. Masroor Lodi, for taking the time out and dropping by to have this conversation with us and sharing your deep insights and perspectives. That's it from us for this episode of Future Proofed in association with GLA University. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more such episodes.